is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again. We are here, and we are live. Join us in the chat. Join in the conversation. Join us as we give you your Monday night review, your Monday night Raw review for November 20th. This is the Value Wrestling, and this is your Monday night and I get choked up already right off. Hold on. This is the Value Wrestling, and this is your Monday night review. Let's get into it. Up first, the one, the only.
What's Clarke?
You know it. Oh, yeah. Believe that. And, of course, you know me. I'm the one, the only. I'm the B to the G to the ITTYME. I'm the big time. I'm here and ready for this show. I got me something to drink. We're going to keep it going. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to break it all down, everything that's going on to the Raw before Survivor Series. The Raw go-home show for Survivor Series. What happened with Drew McIntyre? Is there going to be a 5-on-5 match at War Games? Well, we found that all out tonight. We found out everybody was going to be involved in it, and we're going to talk about it. Monday Night Raw live from the Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the final Raw before Survivor Series and before War Games. Oh, yeah. Dig into that. So we open up with Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes out to the ring and talks about how he cost Cody and Jey Uso the tag team titles last week. That he's not going to join Judgment Day, that you should know better than that, but he's going to be in War Games. He's going to align with Judgment Day this time. So he says he's not apologizing, he's not upset, he's doing his thing. We start to see the change. He goes back and continuously cries about Crash at the Castle where he lost and how that all broke down. Eventually... Oh, the reason he's helping Judgment Day is because Rhea Ripley gave him one thing he wanted, and that was Jey in a cage. And we get everybody out in the ring, and Adam Pearce comes out and goes, no, we're not going to have this. If you do anything, if you hit anybody touches anybody, then you will lose the advantage in War Games for whoever might have the advantage in War Games. And, of course, so we got two announcements from this. Adam Pearce in the ring, and he tells us, yes, Drew McIntyre is in, so it is 5-on-5, and the other team of Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn are going to have to find a fifth partner, and both teams are going to have to decide who fights in the main event tonight, and the main event tonight is going to be for the spot who is going to start with the advantage in War Games. Which team will have the advantage? We're going to have that match tonight as the main event. And that's how we open the show. Post-break, we get Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley chatting about Drew McIntyre. Priest is not really happy about it. Rhea says we need to do it. Damian says he wants the match tonight to get the advantage, but Rhea kind of talks him and says we'll see when Drew gets here. And Priest says that's okay. Good opening. We get a lot of stuff right there. We get the answers that we've been waiting for from Drew McIntyre. We get to find out where he's standing. He's not with Judgment Day at this time. He is doing his heel turn. He may not really be ever official part of Judgment Day, but he's aligning himself today with Judgment Day so he can get Jey alone in the ring. And we know Damian Priest is kind of, he feels like, oh, I'm the leader, but you're doing stuff behind my back. So they keep creating the dissension there. And so we had a good solid open. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on the opening to tonight's show?
What I definitely enjoyed about Drew McIntyre's promo tonight is you can call him a heel, but you can follow his logic by the same token.
Oh, yeah.
It did cost him a lot. So the fact that he's still pissy about it, like, yeah, you can say he's crying, whining and crying about Clash at the Castle, but I kind of think he has every reason to. Now he can do something about it.
Yep.
So I'm kind of enjoying what they're doing with this character at this point.
No, we're getting a change in Drew McIntyre, a much needed change, I would definitely say, and we can't wait to see how this plays out. But for now, he's going into War Games with a Judgment Day. From there, we got a lot of women's action to start off the show. A lot of women's matches tonight on Raw. Really good to see the women get some attention here. Of course, the first match was not anything worth really talking about, you had Raquel Rodriguez fight this person who is nameless, this person who will never be named. The only bad part is this person won with their wannabe, they call it the Annihilator, but it's a wannabe bonsai drop. Anyways, the nameless one wins the match at 9 minutes and 3 seconds. Raquel Rodriguez looks squashed, which is fine by me. I get why they got to give the nameless one this shine here. She's just making her comeback. They've got to make her look strong. Raquel Rodriguez eats a crappy sandwich here, and they lost, and that is it. So they're trying to rebuild the nameless one into the monster. We'll have to see how that plays out. Mr. Clarke, I know it was your favorite wrestler in the ring against Dora the Explorer. Tell us your thoughts on this match.
I just feel bad for Rodriguez because first she tries to power bomb her, gets squashed, and then gets the Annihilator. I'm like, who did she piss off to have her chest caved in like that?
Yep. From there, we got a video package. It's Xia Li. Xia Li taking on Becky Lynch tonight. Recently, Xia Li had attacked Becky Lynch, causing Becky Lynch not to be in the contenders. I think it was a battle royal for the women's champion. So that knocked out Becky Lynch. So Becky Lynch is going to get a revenge tonight. We're backstage, Judgment Day, now with Drew McIntyre, and they start chatting. Priest wants the match, but Drew McIntyre says he wants it. Priest eventually tells Drew McIntyre to go show what he is worth. We get a flashback on how women's War Games. We get a flashback to SmackDown and what set up everything in motion for women's War Games. As we found out, it'll be Damage Control 2.0, I guess we can call it at this point. Asuka, Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Bayley with Dakota Kai probably at ringside in some way or another. And they will take on the team of Charlotte, Shotzi, Bianca Belair, and the man Becky Lynch. So, yes, Becky Lynch has joined War Games. Charlotte called an old friend and got a favor done. From there, we're backstage with Cody Rhodes and company, and they're all talking and discussing who's going to face. And Jay says he wants Drew. He wants to get them. He wants to hurt them the most. He wants this match, and they all say fine. They start talking about a fifth member. It was put out there by Sammy. Oh, you talked to Nick Aldis. It's okay if we use a SmackDown guy? Cody says yes. So here's a little bit of a hint that maybe it could be a Kevin Owens or maybe it could be an LA Knight. And then for whatever reason, Cody goes, I have an old friend that can help. I think he'll show up. And Cody Rhodes leaves us with the hint he's going to call somebody. And no, not the Road Dogg. So these couple of segments here set up a good moment. We have Judgment Day. We know that Drew McIntyre is going to go one-on-one with Jey Uso, the winner of that match later tonight. The main event is going to help their team get the advantage in War Games. And so we got a good setup here. We got all the pieces. We know Cody's calling somebody, leaving the hints. The rumors have been murking. We all kind of know who it was going to be. I think that's a little bit of what took the aura out of it. Hopefully they make a big moment when this person shows up at Survivor Series, since we didn't get them on screen tonight. In this moment, with all that stuff, Judgment Day, the Cody Rhodes team, all that fun junk, what were your thoughts on all this stuff, Mr. Clarke?
Let's see here. The back and forth between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre was like they're trying to alpha dog each other without overdoing it. Like the fact that Damian Priest actually gave in, like, you know what? Go ahead, prove your worth.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure.
Well, Damian Priest trying to be the ultimate alpha dog, being like, okay, go ahead, sure, out there. And of course, we're seeing the dissension between what is growing between Judgment Day and Damian Priest. Kind of feels like he's being set up a lot here. I do believe he's taking the L at War Games for whatever reason. I feel like he's going to be the one that loses. He's going to be the one that costs us a team. But you can see this dissension growing. We see Drew going heel, and I think Damian Priest is very close to making his turn. Interesting fact, did we see any of the money in the briefcase or the Senor in the Money in the Bank briefcase tonight?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing it at any of this time. Even when they got in the ring later, or when they came in the ring earlier, he didn't have his briefcase. So very interesting how that's playing out. And I definitely think they're trying to get people not to think about the money in the briefcase, because everybody's thinking, oh, he's going to cash in this ring. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry to let you know that, folks. Anyways, from there, we had another women's match, the second match of the night. We had a lot of stuff that was just building, so we didn't get a lot of matches. But anyways, we got Becky Lynch versus Xia Li. In a good, solid match here. Xia Li looking very impressive. Xia Li is supposed to be taking on the NXT Women's Champion tomorrow night. Her name is Lia Valkyrie.
Valkyra.
Lia Valkyria. Okay, Lia Valkyria. What? Valkyria? Okay. And so it's a good, solid match. Lee looked good. The only thing I was a little disappointed in is that Becky won clean in the end. She hit the manhandle slam. They had a good 13-minute match. It was a good, solid match. But again, I don't think Xia Li should have been taking a loss when tomorrow night she's supposed to go face the NXT champion who beat Becky Lynch for that title. So you would think to make Xia Li look like a threat to the title, you would have had her also beat Becky Lynch. I think they would have been better off if they would have, when they went out to that 10 count, that almost 10 count, if Xia Li would have attacked Becky and just beaten down Becky and taken the 10 count. This way you wouldn't let Becky take a pin and look bad, but you wouldn't have had Xia Li take a pin and look weak, especially since she's going on tomorrow. I know Becky's going to War Games. That's a little more important, but you promoted, this is the thing, they were also promoting Xia Li having this women's NXT women's title match tomorrow night on NXT. Xia Li looked good in the match. She brought out some new maneuvers that we haven't seen from her. We got to see something that we hadn't seen from Xia Li, which is really great. But having her eat the loss kind of was like, yeah, I think that was really a bad call in this moment. And, of course, after the match, Becky Lynch is kind of celebrating damage control coming down through the crowd. They come to the barrier and start taunting Becky. And then Bianca, Shotzi, and Charlotte Flair show up, and we have a breakout brawl. Adam Pearce has to run out with all the referees and security to break them all apart. And he was not too happy. But that's how that match ended, and everything went down there. Becky Lynch, Xia Li, Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
This match was screwed even before it started. Coming with Xia Li's entrance, they pulled out that cartoon anime lightning crap again. I was like, I can't take her serious with that stuff. No matter how good the match is, it's like, you start off with that cartoony stuff, I'm just like, you lost me already, even before the match started.
Yeah.
And I already figured that Becky Lynch would go over because of the War Game entrance.
I was thinking I was thinking they would let Xia Li win by a DQ or a count out or something, because she was supposed to be.
I could have accepted that had they gone that route.
Well, I figured it.
It's like.
Yeah. No, I figured they were trying to do something with Xia Li because they kept talking about her having the title match tonight. So I'm like, she needs to look good coming out of this. And in ring, the in-ring action was good. Xia Li is just a hard character to get behind because I don't know if they know what they want to do with her. But we saw a lot of good stuff in the ring in action. But yeah, in the end, Becky Lynch wins, and it's kind of like, yeah, another match.
And on top of that, I don't think Xia Li is going over for the NXT Women's title either. So
no,
I two whammies in 1 week here.
No, and I agree with you. I don't think she's going to win the title, but I think they could at least set her up to look like a threat for the title instead of just looking like a loss. I mean, it's just, yes, her in-ring action looked good. She brought out some different maneuvers we hadn't seen from her. But again, losing here and going into a title match tomorrow night is just like, okay, well, now she doesn't feel like anything special since Lia beat Becky for the title. So it's like, if Becky beat Xia and Lia beat Becky, then Lia should beat Xia, and that's a lot of weird names to say altogether. Anyways, Lia and Xia. Anyways, from there we go backstage. We have Luke Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. They're arguing back and forth. Kaiser tells Giovanni Vinci he doesn't appreciate him showing him up last week with Gunther and getting involved in his match, and it doesn't need him. And Giovanni tries to say, I do what's best for Imperium. And Ludwig Kaiser says, I'm no one in charge. Gunther put me in charge, so you listen to me, and I don't want you out there in my match tonight with Johnny Gargano. We got a video of Zoe Starks before we jump into Ludwig Kaiser, Johnny Gargano. Again, good solid match between these two. Just what you expect. I'm kind of tired of it. I'm ready for Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa to be the tag team. I'm ready for them to take on, Imperium together, but I don't know what they're doing with Imperium. Eventually, in this match, the Death Valley Driver connects on Gargano, but here is Giovanni Vinci to distract Kaiser. And this set up a distraction for Gargano to hit the one final beat and get the pin at 9 minutes, 53 seconds. Johnny Gargano wins with Giovanni Vinci distracting Ludwig Kaiser by coming out there. Ludwig Kaiser loses. I don't know what the direction you're going in this. Johnny Gargano win. I'm glad Johnny Gargano won, but I'm kind of like, I want to see DIY in tag team action. I don't want to see them one-on-one with every member of Imperium. I'm like, let's get on with DIY, beating Imperium. Let's get tag team wrestling back on the map. Let's make it feel important. Why are we breaking up Imperium constantly? Like they're all feuding in some weird way. So I don't understand this whole thing. Here, glad Gargano win. It was a good match. Both these guys are really good in ring. Just the story that we're getting just doesn't help it. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
This is my shot in the dark thought. I'm thinking what they're doing with the Imperium part of the story is let's separate them and have them feud verbally as much as they can without actually breaking them up, only for them to come back as a stronger unit to kind of continue that tag team wrestling. I could be wrong. Maybe they are actually eventually breaking up Imperium. But we've seen where throughout the years, they'll teams breaking up only to bring them back together in the past. So that's what I'm hoping they're doing.
I don't know. I'm just ready to get back to tag team action. I want to see DIY in tag team action. I want to see Imperium tag team action, not this mess.
This tomfoolery.
Yeah. So we're backstage with Adam Pearce, Chelsea Green, and Piper Niven, and they're talking to him. And eventually all these women come out of nowhere. You had Natalya and Tegan Knox come out and they won a women's tag team match. Then you had Casey and I can't think of her name.
Dance.
Huh? Casey and I forget. Oh, good God. Don't freeze right now. I don't need you to
Kaden
freeze.
Carter and Katana Chance.
Yeah, there we go. They come up and they want a match too. And then Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae go. They're the best tag team. They deserve the shot at it. And then Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile walk in. They don't really want a match. Adam Pearce just assumes they want a match and tells them, fine, you're all going to have a four-way match. It's a four-way match for the number one contender for the women's tag team titles. At least they're going to do something with the women's tag team title. Chelsea Green gets mad at Nick Aldis, or at Adam Pearce, and says she's going to go call Nick Aldis. Adam Pearce tells her, tell him I say hi. He turns and there's Piper Niven. And before he can say, I need a drink, he gets cut off by Michael Cole, which was perfect. I'm finally like, okay, good. Let's not, this running gag is like not, every week after every little incident. I mean, anyways, we're backstage with Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. They're walking into their little dungeon, their little clubhouse, whatever you want to call it. And there's Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. And Rhea Ripley's not happy about it. Starks loves all the decoration, especially the women's title. Ripley kind of respects the guts it took to do this, but the beating is coming at Survivor Series, so we continue the storyline between Zoe Starks and Rhea Ripley before Zoe Starks gets fed to mommy. Now, for the four-way match for the number one contender for the women's titles, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven come down to commentary. We had Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Tegan Knox, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance in a 4-way match. A good solid match. Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile looked really good in this match. What I was happy is Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, they had the same colors on. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, even though they're already kind of a tag team, they had the same colors on. And Tegan Knox and Natalia, they had matching colors. So they all felt like they were tag teams because they had matching looks. You know, they weren't completely different. Now, Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile, they didn't match, but they were kind of in this match by chance instead of actually being competitors. But I was happy to see that they made these women's, have outfits that were matching instead of just everybody doing their own thing and trying to go, oh, these are tag teams. At least when they look like they match, they feel like a tag team, so you buy into it a little more. This was a decent match. I don't know why they were making Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile look so great in this match. Maxine Dupree goes up top for a high crossbody, but Knox rolls through and gets the pin. Tegan Knox gets the pin on Maxine at 11:45. So Tegan Knox and Natalia are now the number 1 contenders for Piper Niven and Chelsea Green's women's tag team championships. I don't know. I would have thought Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, or even Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell would have been better choices. Nothing wrong with Tegan Knox, but I'm just kind of, Natalia's always just kind of like that go-to person when they don't have anything else to do. So we'll see what they do with this. I don't know if they'll switch the tag team titles at this point. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven have been really good with the women's tag team titles, even though they don't do a whole lot with it. At least they're on screen every week in the background, being pains in wrestling. Your thoughts, Mr. Clarke, on this 4-way dance?
Was a match. To be honest, I was kind of in and out during this portion of the show for other reasons, other things.
All right.
I kind of caught up on clips. It was cool. Safe bet one, if you will, especially with Natalia being half of that team.
No, exactly. Anyways, from there we saw Gunther. Gunther isn't pleased with Luke Kaiser and thinks maybe he should have put Giovanni Vinci in charge. And so we get this Gunther going after Ludwig. Ludwig doesn't get why Gunther's mad at him. He's happy with Giovanni Vinci. So originally it was Gunther mad at Giovanni Vinci that put Ludwig Kaiser in charge. Now he's mad at Ludwig Kaiser. We'll have to see how this all plays out. It's interesting.
So now we're come back as a stronger unit, or they have to add a new member for this to make sense.
So now we're backstage with all the men's tag teams. We have the New Day. We have Alpha Academy. We have Indus Shear. I can't remember how to pronounce her name, but Indus Shear.
Yes.
And I forgot. Was there another team? There's another team. I can't remember who else was there. It was so quick, and they were fighting, and then we got into Tozawa doing the dance with the Detroit Lions World Championship, and we got the stupid thing that's driving me nuts. I'm tired of the I need a drink, and then now we're doing the thing every week. Tozawa, that's nasty. It's like, the first time it was funny, but to do it every single week, and this is why I can't take the New Day serious, because you have Xavier Woods, which I get who his character is, and it's not Offer's character, but you're just like, I want to take these characters seriously. And Tozawa, I know he's a comedian, and him dancing, it's fine, but every time that he dances, you have Xavier Woods going, Tozawa, that's nasty. It's just like Roderick Strong riding around going, Adam! It's like, okay, we get the joke. You're driving a joke in the ground. This is like Vince McMahon booking when you just drive the same joke into the ground, and you're like, okay. I get it. Anyways, the men's tag teams all want a title shot. They're upset the women did. And so Adam Pearce says, fine, you can all get it, but not tonight. So they're going to get a future chance, these teams. I forget who was all there. I know Alpha Academy, New Day, and Indus Shear. I don't know who the other tag team was in that moment. And then we have Adam Pearce. He's trying to talk about getting Nick Aldis. And here is Nick Aldis. And they need to talk. So lots of stuff going on backstage here. Is there anything you want to add into any of that? No.
They're just trying to emphasize that there are tag teams out there, and if they have a division.
Well, if they'll start using them,
said to me.
if they'll start using them, then I might be happy here. Anyways, we get the Miz and Gunther in a face-to-face. The Miz has been called the underdog. He's respect. He's done all this stuff. Miz is talking up who he is and how Gunther doesn't respect him. And in the middle of it, Gunther interrupts him, and Gunther comes out and says he doesn't like him. He doesn't like anything about Mike. He does not call him the Miz. He calls him Mike throughout most of this. And they go back and forth about how he's a kid. And of course, Miz talks about how he was a fan of Macho Man Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, Rick Rude, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, all these names that he was listening as a kid. And of course, Gunther calls him a wrestling weirdo and says that you're just a weirdo that became a wrestler. I kind of got offended with this because he was going after all of us weirdos that have liked wrestling for years. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that's us. What are you talking about, mother trucker? Great promo session here. Great back and forth. The Miz and Gunther go back and forth. And then for whatever reason, we got the Miz in the ring and we get Gunther in the ring. Gunther's trashing us all. And we get USA chants. Why? Because he's from Germany. Do we have to have the USA chants all of a sudden when the Miz isn't some American hero by far? But it was kind of funny. And Gunther did the best thing. Gunther's like, oh, you would chat 3 letters. I mean, Gunther's response to the fans chanting USA was brilliant. You can tell that couldn't have been scripted because you didn't know that was coming. But it was really interesting how he squashed. Oh, you champed that, but that don't mean nothing. That's all you got. 3 little letters. And then he says that he says Mike needs to stand up for himself because he's always been bullied. And Gunther starts bumping Miz, and the Miz keeps kind of backing up. He doesn't want to hit him. And then Gunther keeps attacking him. And the Miz goes to attack Gunther, but Gunther takes him down. And then he's got a hold of the Miz. And Miz hits a low blow, a back kick, and then he hits a skull crushing canale. And Michael Cole goes, "Do it for all of us weirdos, Miz." Michael Cole's still a fan of Miz after all these years. And we get Miz holding up the Intercontinental title at the end. I don't think Miz is winning this match, but we got a great promo between these two. We got a great storyline. Gunther was really good on the mic tonight. He hit points. He attacked everybody. He made you kind of pissed off at him. And then the USA chant, and he just shut that down real quick. So I was quite impressed with Gunther here. Your thoughts, Mr. Clarke, on the face-off between The Miz and Gunther?
There is no way you can say that Gunther doesn't have his own sense of charisma. That was shown just explicitly here tonight.
Yep. From there, we see Seth Rollins pepping up Jey Uso, saying, "Don't feel disrespected for the earlier tonight." And they have a pep talk, and Jay's all yeet. Jey is the yeeter of Yeats from Yeatsville. Jey Uso, Mr. Yeeter. Yeet.
Allegedly going to give someone a yeet down.
Yeah, we're going to get yeeted in Yeet Town as we get a yeet down. Yeet, yeet. How many times can you use the word yeet? I don't know how we came up to the world in the world where we say yeet, you know? Anywho.
The thing is, that is so passe. The hip-hop community does not really use that language anymore. So, which is where they got it from.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even understand why WWE is late to the party with this one.
It's popular with the kids. They're all yeeting and yeeters. So, I don't know. Anyways, then we got a video package of Ivar and Valhalla wanting revenge on Bronson Reed next week. A good video package for Ivar, so I guess we're getting Ivar and Bronson Reed next week. From there, we got a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Chad Gable. A good solid match, as you would see between these two. A lot of good back and forth. Chad Gable looking really good. Nakamura makes the ropes, as Cole says. Kurt Angle made the ankle lock famous. Chad Gable had the ankle lock on. Gable has to stop himself from going into an exposed turnbuckle, allowing Nakamura to roll him up for the pin at 12 minutes and 2 seconds. Nakamura gets another pin over Alpha Academy. He's beaten Tozawa, he's beaten Otis, and now beaten Chad Gable. But at least in the way he beat Chad Gable, it doesn't take anything away from Gable. A good, solid match. Both men look good. Can't wait to see who Nakamura is talking about. The storyline shall continue. At least we know it's not Randy Orton, like a lot of people thought Randy Orton was going to show up at Survivor Series to face Nakamura, because that's who Nakamura was challenging, and we're like, no. But good solid match. Nakamura, Chad Gable. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, if they really wanted to push the envelope, there's one more member of Alpha Academy I guess you could face, but that would be freaking silly.
I don't. This WWE is not TNA, so I don't think they're pushing. I don't think they're pushing the envelope. I don't think we're going to see that. We saw it. There's only select people that can do it. Maybe Rhea Ripley could get in the ring with a man and wrestle and have a intergender match like that. But I know WWE, it's just not their thing. And in certain cases where it's believable, you can buy into it. In other places, you're just like, I don't want to see. I wouldn't want to see Maxine Dupree versus. I don't actually want to see it. Versus Shinsuke. I'm just saying in general. I know some people like the intergender stuff. I know it's gotten more over on the indie scene, and everything a man can do, a woman can do. But I'm just like, if you put a Maxine Dupree in with Shinsuke Nakamura, there's just no viable believability that Maxine could win that match. If you put an Ivy Nile in there with Bronson Reed, is that really, So. As great as these women be, there's just some things that it's a little hard to suspend that disbelief and buy into, especially when you go out there and you beat up each other with fake objects and you can tell that you're working together in a Texas death match that sucked. But anywho, you've got to at least keep me where I can believe that it's actually reality. When you go way beyond the blurs of reality, then you're just kind of like, yeah, no, you've lost my attention.
At least the Texas death match was tasty.
I guess if your name is Lestat.
There you go. Respect.
Yes. I maybe Anne Rice. I don't know. Or maybe Gangrel if we want to go down those roads. And if you know, and that's all that matters. I'm not going to get into details of what that was all about, but if you know, and then you're awesome, and that's all we're going to say about that. Throw it back. Anyways, backstage, we have David Priest telling Drew McIntyre not to blow it, and then we get Bronson Reed doing his little interview segment telling Ivar he's a cross player instead of a true warrior. We're going to run down our Survivor Series. We get a video of War Games. And Sammy couldn't get anyone from SmackDown, so I guess Sammy couldn't get KO on the phone. But Cody has a friend who's answered the phone, and he's in, and his partners are thrilled. So we get into the main event. The main event, Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. The winner of this match, their team is going to get the advantage in War Games. This is a good, solid match, good, entertaining match between Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso. You can see where this feud is going, and we're probably going to get more matches out of these two going forward, which is going to be awesome. But in the end, Drew McIntyre catches Uso on the top rope, pulls him down, hits the Future Shock DDT for the 1, 2, 3 at 18 minutes, 34 seconds. It was a little bit of a weird pin because I didn't expect the pin to be on a Future Shock DDT at that moment in time. But it happened, and I also figured there would be other shenanigans in this to help this go over. But no, Drew McIntyre cleanly beats Jey Uso at 18 minutes and 34 seconds. A good match between the guys. Good, solid match. But the Judgment Day with Drew McIntyre will get the advantage at War Games. And from there, we got the post-match fallout. Drew was out there, or Drew won, and then Rhea Ripley came down until Drew to finish Jey. He took Jey to the outside, slammed him on the table, was going to finish him off more. But Jey started fighting back, and then for whatever reason, of course, if you're getting beat down and you start seeing Judgment Day come out, I don't know why Jey didn't just shake off. But anyway, Judgment came down and started beating up on Jey, which brought out the baby faces. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Sami Zayn all came running down in chairs. They jumped in the ring, chased off Judgment Day. We all thought that at this moment in time we would get to see the fifth member because Adam Pearce said they had to pick a fifth member and announce it before the end of the night. WWE doing this to keep themselves safe. Instead of having just a mystery partner, they let us know who their mystery or who their partner was going to be. Cody gets on the mic and goes, "You're glad you're here, glad that you have Drew McIntyre, but we have somebody too." Cody goes, "I have somebody that I have a legacy with. And no, they're not praying because they have an apex predator in their corner. You're not just hearing voices inside your head because the people are right." And so we get the acknowledgement that Randy Orton, he doesn't show up on screen, doesn't come down the rampway, but Randy Orton is going to be teaming up with Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn in War Games. And that is your Monday Night Raw. We go off the air. A decent Monday Night Raw. Not a great Monday Night Raw. It was kind of your basic stuff. We got some more women's matches than we've seen in a long time. A lot of this was just filler to build storylines and add on the storylines going into War Games. It was decent. I think Becky Lynch winning was not the best choice when you have Xia Li facing the NXT Women's Champion tomorrow night. There's just some of these things. The Ludwig Kaiser and Johnny Gargano, good match, but some of that storyline is just like, okay, can we get some direction on this moving forward? Can we get back into tag team wrestling? The show was decent, just not the best, not overall just the greatest thing leading into Survivor Series. It did the job, is basically what it comes down to. It filled in all the last remaining pieces for what we expect for what should be a really good show on Saturday. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre? Your thoughts on Raw as a whole?
Uso and McIntyre, good match. What can you really say about that?
Mm-hmm.
We might look at Raw as being an average show, but by the same token, it's like WWE average when they're being functional is a whole lot better than the so-called challenger brand right now, who creatively is not functional. So
No,
hey, I'm happy. I mean, like any show, there can be improvements, blah, blah, blah. They can get into meatier storylines. But for the most part, I'm happy with tonight's show, tonight's episode. We know where we're going, and that's ultimately all you can really ask for.
Hold
as
on.
long as we get
Mr. Z, the gobbledygooker, thank you for finally joining us this evening. Go ahead, sir. The floor is back to you. I just wanted to give him his round of applause. I guess he figured if he doesn't come into chat, he has no chance of getting fired.
But that's not necessarily true either.
No. You may get fired for being late. I don't know yet. We'll see how this plays out. Floor is yours, Mr. Clarke.
Just the fact, as long as we get a payoff, Saturday, was it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday, okay. Saturday.
WWE pay-per-views have all moved to Saturday. Yes,
as long as we get a decent payoff Saturday, this show being what it was, I'm ecstatic about it.
Yeah. No, and WWE is better at storytelling, and we're at least getting stories. We're getting reasons. We're making things fit together. But this show was a lot of just building a lot of stuff that people are kind of getting bored of. We got a lot of Judgment Day on this show. So I get it. The Ludwig Kaiser, the Imperium thing, we got to kind of see how that plays out. The other little things here and there, hit or miss. It is what it is, and we're moving forward. So we'll see what happens. We got one more show for WWE. We got SmackDown on Friday night, which will be on FS1, which means we will be watching it at 5 o'clock here too. So we will probably be on earlier on the air for SmackDown. To cover all that, write that down. And then Saturday we will have Survivor Series. We will have 4 games, and we'll break that down. And if anything happens on Collision, we'll probably talk about that more on the Weekly Rebound than anything, because I have no faith in Collision being anything going up against Survivor Series this week.
No.
Tony Khan might do something stupid like try to make some grandioso match. I don't know. He'll probably put Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho he'll put the Golden Jets against the tag team champions with the tag team champions online. Just cause, who knows? Collision's going to be where they reveal the devil. That may be his only saving grace to get attention on this product that night.
Now remember, this is speculation, not reports.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying he's going to do something off the wall, something stupid. Maybe he'll have Will Ospreay wrestle on Collision. Since Will Ospreay's under contract with AEW, I don't think there's any reason why he can't wrestle with AEW.
No, his contract doesn't start till February. No, I'm sorry, January, Revolution.
Well, no, he's under contract.
So,
he's just got to finish up his other dates. He's officially under a AEW contract as of the day he signed it. So as of Saturday, he's officially all elite, and he's officially signed under contract, but he's going to complete the shows.
He can't be officially under contract if he's under contract in New Japan until that point.
No, he is. He's officially under AEW contract. New Japan Pro Wrestling, in their working agreement, agreed to allow him to do that, and AEW allow him to sign him like that. All they asked was he finished out his dates. They basically, he's under a handshake agreement right now with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's not really under contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling anymore. He's under All Elite's wrestling contract. But they're going to let him finish out his shows. That's what he's making the statement about. But yes, his contract's official as of Saturday.
That still doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if I actually believe that. Because I remember something like there's a difference between storyline contracts and actual contracts. Now,
everybody from Sean Ross Sapp, everybody from Sean Ross Sapp, and everybody in the IWC has announced that he is under an AEW contract officially. He's just going to finish up his New Japan Pro Wrestling dates.
Again, as much, and you know I'm a Sean Ross Sapp person, but he ain't there for the contracts. He's going based off of sources, but that's still secondhand for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's everybody's reporting that. But I also think
when you say everybody in the IWC, it's like there's most sources I don't believe in the IWC. Sources I actually trust enough.
I believe I think Will Ospreay even acknowledged it on the scrum that he's under an All Elite contract, but he's finishing up his dates in New Japan. But
in either respect, yeah, I mean, he's going to do all that anyways, one way or another, no matter what the technicality is.
From what I understand and everything I've gotten from everybody, and the story is pretty much the same, New Japan agreed for him to go ahead and sign this contract and be All Elite. He's under their banner, but he's finishing up his New Japan Pro Wrestling dates, which is really Wrestle Kingdom, I believe is his last date. And then he's going to be at Revolution.
I believe so.
So, I mean, you're looking at a little over a month and a half. So, I mean, who he's under contract with, who cares? He's going to get the Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to drop those belts. Maybe. He may not drop those belts on all intents and purposes because he's still going to be allowed to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling anyways under an AEW contract. So, who knows? Anyways, this has been your Monday Night Review with a little AEW added in the end, even though they're not doing anything worthwhile to really want to talk about. But Monday Night Raw was a show.
More about that on Wednesday.
Did what it needed to get us to where we are going, and now we sit and cry because Raw is over, which means Wednesday's right around the corner, and we don't know what we're going to expect on Dynamite. After the mess they left us with Full Gear, and if you go listen to Jim Cornette tear that thing up, oh my God, Jim Cornette! They haven't released everything, but he went off on the Hangman Page Swerve Strickland match and the ridiculousness that was that. And I guess the world is torn. There's an honest tear that there are people who, I guess there's one way or the other, and this has got very black and white. You either really loved it or you absolutely hated Full Gear. There's not many of those middle line people. It's people are either absolutely just pissed off about it or they loved it all the way through. And a lot of people are pissed off with the more or so. There's people pissed off about the Hangman Swerve match and the way that kind of went. And then there's people who are really pissed off about the whole MJF, Jay White, and Adam Cole match and how bad it made Jay White look in the end. How he's kind of buried. He's not buried, but it's kind of, it made him look really stupid that he couldn't beat a one-legged man. Anywho, we'll see how that wraps up on Wednesday, how Dynamite fixes, how Tony Khan tries to fix all that on Dynamite. I loved it. Oh, yeah, Cornette was great when he was going off on this thing. Oh, Cornette. I haven't seen all Cornette stuff. I'm waiting to hear what he has to say about. They've recorded his show, but on YouTube they're releasing the clips of his Full Gear review. And I mean, they released the Swerve Strickland Hangman Page match, and I mean, gosh, Cornette's like just going off about it. So it was great. Anyways, this has been your Value Wrestling Monday Night Review. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for being here. If you're watching this later, go ahead and feel free to comment. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching this now, make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching this later and you're not a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the Value Wrestling family. Become a part of the Value Wrestling family. We're making our way to 1,000. Well, that's what Tony is good at making New Japan people look like fools. Yeah, well, guess what? He just signed Will Ospreay. Who was Will Ospreay? A New Japan guy. So, what does it say about Will Ospreay, Mr. Z? Are you predicting Mr. Ospreay's future? Anyways, this is Value Wrestling. This is your Monday Night Raw review. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this out with all your friends, family, and everybody that you know that likes wrestling. We need to grow this channel. We're marching to 1,000. We're at 132. And we're slowly growing, slowly marching forward. We thank you, everybody who's already subscribed. We thank you for becoming a part of the Value Wrestling family, and we appreciate that. And until next time, I guess it's time to say, until the next episode, it's time to say bye. And we're going to get out of here and say goodnight. Now, farewell.